with eddaket so he can start this amazing catch 'em all round. So, all yours.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to just get started so we don't. Hopefully we can make up a little bit of time on this run. So I'm actually going to give the countdown now. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so I'm starting this on a hard reset rather than on new game. Normally when we time it, we will do essentially a pre-timer where... actually, I'll just explain it in a second, because there are some inputs I need to do. Alright, so what I just did there was RNG manipulation to get a very specific trainer ID, and I can explain what all of that means in a little bit. But what I was trying to say while I was doing it is we normally start our timers at like minus 32 seconds, and that allows us to not have to start the timer in the middle of pressing inputs. But starting it then is fine. It's only about 30 seconds, like I said. Alright, so like I said, we need to do trainer ID manipulation. We do RNG manipulation quite a bit throughout this run. And the way that it works is we hard reset our console, and by doing very specific inputs to get through the intro frame perfectly, we are able to get the same results from RNG or from the randomness. So we use this to get specific encounters, we do it to get specific stats on those encounters, get encounters on specific tiles, stuff like that. So it's really a very useful tool for us that we abuse quite a bit throughout the run. I guess I should actually explain what this run is. So this is Pokemon Red, Blue, Catch 'em All. So I'm doing this on Blue version, and the objective of this run is to complete the Pokedex using basically any means necessary. There are some things that are not allowed, but for the purposes of a casual viewer who isn't as involved in the routing aspect of this game, we can do anything. There are many, many glitches in this run. Alright, so I just wanted to check my trainer ID real quick. We have a good one. We did the trainer ID manip correctly, which is awesome. This is the first place that we can check our trainer ID. It's not like later games where it's on our trainer card. You only see the trainer ID number when looking at your Pokemon's stats. So if I had the wrong trainer ID, we wouldn't know. And we didn't check. We wouldn't actually know until about 20 minutes in. So we definitely want to check it now. And it definitely matters. If we messed it up, we would be in for a bad time. It is catch them all and then beat the game. Beating the game, as you will see at the end of the run, is a lot less exciting than it sounds. So yeah, we beat our rival, which is the first step on our quest for glory. We had to pick Bulbasaur. We picked Bulbasaur mainly because it is the fastest Pokemon to perform a glitch about 10 minutes into the run. And this glitch really opens up the game. So in order to perform that glitch, we need a Pokemon with 16 special and a Pidgey. The Pidgey is non-negotiable. It actually has to be a Pidgey, which is convenient that we can get a Pidgey before Pewter City. And a Pokemon with 16 special really can be any Pokemon. But Bulbasaur is just the Pokemon in the early game that has the highest base special stat. And that allows us to get to 16 special the fastest. If we used either Squirtle or Charmander, we wouldn't hit 16 special until level 9, roughly. Where for Bulbasaur, you're going to see we're going to hit it at level 7. Hey, Problems, thanks for the good luck. So yeah, trying to explain everything in this run is going to be a challenge for sure. So please don't hesitate to ask specific questions. There's no way I will be able to explain everything that's going on. Especially once we hit around the 20-25 minute mark, you guys are going to be, if you've never seen this run, you're going to be very confused as to what the heck is happening. I'll try my best to explain specific things, but if you do have any specific questions, don't hesitate to ask. I do have chat open. One thing that's completely unrelated to glitches, we're talking to Oak from the side rather than from below. You might think talking to him from below is faster, and it would be if the rival didn't walk incredibly slow. The rival walks at about half of our speed, so by talking to Oak from the side or from behind, if we talk to him from the side, we save 2 tiles of the rival walking, and we only waste 3 tiles of us walking, so we actually save about a tile of our walking. What is this glitch I'm doing? Nothing yet. I will be doing a glitch at about the 10-minute mark called Brock Through Walls, which is it's the first big glitch in this run, and it's really the glitch that made this run fast. Or the first glitch that made this run fast and also inviting for people to run. It used to be a lot harder to get on a run, and nowadays, if you really want to, you can get on a run 100% of the time. So this early game, we just hope for no encounters, and of course we got like 6 encounters. So in order to get 16 special, there are 2 different ways we can do that. We can either get it at level 7 or level 8. If we want to get it at level 7, which is what we're trying to do here, we don't want to fight any Pokemon until we go into Viridian Forest, and then there's one mandatory trainer that we have to fight. That Pokemon there will get us to level 7. If we want to get it at level 8, which happens if we have 13 special at level 6, then we want to fight 1 wild encounter. I had 14 special at level 6, so I need to get it at level 7. And this is the first instance of RNG manipulation. Or, first instance other than trainer ID manipulation. So I mentioned we needed a Pidgey. So let's go try to find one. I'm thinking this tile. I'm also thinking first ball. No tackles. Hey, look at that. It's almost like I knew that was gonna happen. So basically RNG manipulation allows us to get the same results every time. There is some variance. It's usually about 1 out of 60 chance that something fails. But in general, we can rely on RNG manipulation pretty heavily. We do it a lot throughout the run. In some cases like that, we want to get a specific Pokemon. The next time we do it is going to be because we want to get a specific Pokemon on a specific tile, and we will explain that when we get there. And yeah. So we just need to get to Pewter City. The goal of the game right now is get to Pewter City. And this guy is the one guy in our way. Weedle can't do much to us. If you've seen a glitchless run, Weedle is annoying because he can poison the Squirtle. But Bulbasaur is part poison, so he can't be poisoned himself. Yep, we actually don't fight any gyms. We don't fight the Elite Four. We do nothing of the sort in this run. Alright, so I know I'm going to have 16 special. I actually have perfect special. So we're just going to continue. Normally this is where I check. If I have 15 special on a normal run, I would reset. There is a backup for marathons that does waste a little bit of time, not a whole lot. It's usually about 2 minutes that it wastes. So lucky. Yep. And we're out. Alright, so now's time for that glitch that I mentioned. Most people are probably familiar. If you're familiar with Pokemon glitches, you're probably familiar with this first one I'm going to do. We're going to skip Brock. And we can do that by moving our cursor to save. Moving our cursor to save, walking to this specific tile. Give me a second. Saving the game and resetting. When we reset, we will be able to walk past this guy and not be walked to the gym. However, most people, unless you've seen a Pokemon speedrun or a glitched run in the last 3 years, does not know about this. So, this is a glitch called Brock Through Walls. So, normally when you talk to the guy who brings you to Brock, what the game does is it searches through memory for your coordinates and then tries to execute the code next to those coordinates to say, bring this guy to the gym. When you talk to him from the right side, the game never expected you to be able to talk to him from the right side, so those coordinates aren't in memory. So normally, if you talk to him from the right side, the game locks up, and it's just infinitely searching for your coordinates. We specifically set up our coordinates using the 16 special and the Pidgey, so the coordinates get found, and it can run some code that allows us to use our D-pad, which is normally not allowed when the guy is walking you to the gym. And because it's an event like that, the game disables collision detection because you're supposed to be auto-walking. You're not supposed to be able to manually move yourself. So it gives us the ability to walk through walls. We have that ability of walking through walls until we enter a door, so we just lost the ability, but luckily, we are where we want to be. We are in Vermilion City. So Vermilion City is a great hub for us. The next goal for us is we need to get item underflow. And the way that we do that is we need 255 of an item, which is normally not allowed. So we will be doing some shenanigans to get ourselves 255 of an item. And it starts with a little bit of RNG manipulation. You can sort of sense a theme here. RNG manipulation is used quite heavily. This time, it doesn't actually matter what our encounter is. We just need it on this specific tile. It happens to be a Spearow, but we don't actually need it to be a Spearow. So we purposely died to that encounter, and we're going to talk to this lovely lady. Do you have a Spearow? I don't, actually. So let me try to leave. Talk to the sign. And we get ourselves a missing no. So what we just did there is a death fly. One of the things you may have heard before is a trainer fly. This is basically the same concept, except rather than teleporting or flying away from a trainer, we die directly in front of the trainer. And then when we enter the route again, the Pokemon that appears is based on certain values in memory. We set that value such that Missing No will appear by talking to the lady who trades us ducks. And what that does is that will duplicate the item in the 6th slot of our inventory. So now we have 129 of it. We tossed 2, so we're going to have 127, and we're going to do this one more time. So we have 255. And by having 255, we can set up our item underflow. So I actually extended the manipulation to have Spearow use Peck on turn 1. That manipulation is actually kind of tough. Like, it's a tricky timing. It's about a 4-frame window, I believe. Spearow has 4 moves. It has Peck, Fury Attack, Growl, and Leer. So Growl and Leer won't kill us, so that'll just waste time. Fury Attack can miss, so we don't want that to happen. And Peck is really the only useful move from Pidgey. Wait, what am I doing? I'm gonna move this back up. Wait, okay. I messed up that menu. I've never messed that up before. And then we die to the Missing No. And now we're off to... This is where things get crazy. If you thought things were crazy before, you don't even know. And because I haven't saved for a little bit, I'm going to save. I'm going to do 2 safety saves in this run, just because if something were to go wrong, I haven't saved in a little bit. So, having to reset back to the Spearow Manip would not be beneficial. Oh yeah, we basically now have a hex editor. This is a random spots in memory that we now have access to. Essentially what we're doing is we're tricking the game into thinking we have negative items, and by having negative items, the game allows us to access more spots in memory than we're supposed to. So we can access the parts of memory, the bytes in memory, adjacent to the item bag and the PC box, using an item bag interface. And so that allows us to manipulate values in memory just by tossing items like this. So that right there, that gave me a lot of coins for the game corner. So the mainly what we're doing here is we are giving ourselves items that are useful for the future, as well as setting a few flags. So we just set up a death fly, and that setup doesn't take too long, but if we don't have to do it, we'd rather not. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm actually setting up trainer flies on a bunch of different routes. So we don't actually have to go to those routes first. We can just have a trainer fly available. So yeah. Also, the map is a little messed up. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're now in Celadon City. It's fine. No need to panic. Selling a J item, it's fine. The shopping is actually very particular. In addition to getting like specific amounts of items for glitches later on, we're also trying to keep track of our money and make sure our money is a good value. So money is something we have access to in our little hex editor. So by giving ourselves a specific amount of money, we are able to influence what items are going to appear in those slots. So at the end of this, the middle two numbers are going to be 4, 9. So they're 4, 5 right now. I'm going to buy 2 more things. It'll be 4 and 9. And 4, 9 corresponds to a Pokeflute, which has some good use as well. Alright, so now I need to focus. Let me save real quick like I did before. Just because if you mess this up, it's bad. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. 19, 20. So we have a lot of Master Balls, so that's mainly how we'll be catching Pokemon from now on. We're gonna do some more maneuvering. We need our Soul Badge. Getting that Soul Badge doesn't actually give us the ability to use Surf. We've already given ourselves the ability to use Surf, which is pretty fun. So we need those TMs. Gonna want these Master Balls. Gonna move over here. Toss some of this item. Give ourselves some rare candies. Everyone loves rare candies. Give ourselves 255 of those rare candies. Toss the HP up. We don't need it. Toss the Great Ball. We don't need that. Go down here. We now have a lot of rare candies. Toss even more of them because we don't need this many. Swap down here. We want the 9th floor for later. Go over here. I don't know why we need Paralyze Heals, but that's okay. Go up here. We're now in Power Plant because that makes sense. Swap some of this around. Toss some of those. Bring this up here. Remember those rare candies we tossed from earlier? We don't need any of them. And here's the Voltorb. So yeah, like I said, there is so much going on that there's no way I can explain everything. So if anybody has specific questions like, why did you do this or something like that, definitely don't hesitate to ask. I see Stringflow is in chat. He is a former runner of this category, but he is very involved and knows a lot of what's happening. I love well-developed video games. Dude. This game is so well-developed. You don't even know. So why did the game put me in Power Plant? I can actually answer that. Basically what we did was we changed we changed the map so it had a connection to the north, and so what a connection means is like Pewter City is next to Route 2, so it has a connection to the south to go to Route 2. We changed it so it has a connection to the north, and we changed it so that connection was the power plant. So we did two things there. I also used self-destruct and then revived the Voltorb and evolved it into an Electrode using a rare candy. The way the reason I did that is I want to be in a red bar. So red bar is the state I'm currently in where I'm at low health and the game is going to go wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo whenever I'm in battle. It's a little annoying. Some people actually like it. I don't mind it at all. But the reason it's useful is Pokemon's cries can get skipped. So if you notice, when Electrode's cry happened, it didn't wait for the cry to finish before I could do something. And that's because the cry, or the red bar noise, will essentially skip other noises. That's a very bad explanation, I realize. But that's essentially what's happening. Because the red bar noise is happening, other sound effects get skipped. Also, I'm looking for a Pikachu right now. Pikachu is not being nice. So, there is a trick that I'm trying to employ called D-sum manipulation that will allow us to try and predict what Pokemon will appear. And the way that we can do that is the Pokemon that appear are based on we can figure out what Pokemon might appear based on the last Pokemon that appeared and the amount of time since that Pokemon appeared. So you'll notice that sometimes I'll be sort of just sitting there not doing anything. It's because I'm waiting for a certain amount of time to pass before I start looking, because if I were to look during that window, the Pokemon I'm looking for has a 0% chance of appearing. Like, yeah, Pikachu is 25% in Power Plant, but if I look during that specific time, there's a 0% chance. So, it's kind of a neat little thing. You're going to notice me counting and doing that quite a bit throughout the run. Not as much as we used to, because we do use RNG manipulation for a lot of Pokemon, but we do try to use D-sum manipulation whenever it's possible. Yeah, it's basically RNG manip. The one difference between this, like D-sum manipulation and RNG manip in this game, is D-sum manipulation is by no means an exact science. D-sum really just gives you a window of time. If you don't get an encounter during that time, there's nothing you can do. So yeah, one of the things we have access to in the menu is basically our warping, where we warp to when we leave a building. Also, we have access to a certain value that allows Nurse Joy to revive our fossils, which is fine. This game looks fine, IMO, exactly. So we're gonna revive our fossils. We don't have the Dome Fossil right now. We won't be getting Kabuto using the Dome Fossil. We'll be getting it through other means. Teach Fly to Pidgey. Go down here, toss 3. Go like that. This part always gets everyone because not only does Nurse Joy do fossils, but we can ride our bike indoors, which everybody has wanted to do for the longest time. I forgot to... I was supposed to get Ammonite late, but whatever. So another thing that... Or I guess let me do this first because this is always fun and always gets a good laugh. So not only does Nurse Joy give us fossils, but there are a bunch of Eevees that are just abandoned behind this sign. Their owner was like, I don't want you anymore. You're not evolved into nice Pokemon, so I'd rather just get rid of you behind this sign. It's really a sad story, but us being the gracious people that we are, we free them from the sign. There's. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is the boxes. So, in this game, there are boxes that you put your Pokemon in. When you catch a Pokemon and your party is full, it goes to the PC. And there are only 20 slots in each PC box. Later games will automatically change box for you. It's like, your box is full, let me change boxes for you. This game does not do that. This game says, your box is full, you can't catch that Pokemon. So, so we have to make sure that we change our box throughout the run. The route is done in such a way that we very rarely actually have to worry about the number of Pokemon in our box as long as we follow the route. There is one box that I actually have to care about. And actually, because I caught Magneton already, I don't have to care about it. So here we're looking for Ponyta and Grimer. Ponyta level 34, it's the highest level, which is nice. Some Pokemon we will have to evolve, Ponyta is one of them, so you want to try to get the high level if you can. It's not required, like I wouldn't run away from a lower level one, but by getting the highest level one, it does save a little bit of time. Now I'm just looking for Grimer, there it is, look at us. That was actually pure luck. There was no art. There was no D-sum manip in that. So this could be something rare, like a Muck or a Weezing or a Grimer. All right, cool. So I tried. We're not gonna look for anything else. We're just going to do our first LG of the run. LG is a glitch. That is literally, LG stands for LOL glitch. So it is the LOL glitch. And you'll see why it is named as such. Oh hey, did you guys know that there is an Electabuzz in the Pokemon Mansion? I didn't know that. Yeah, it makes like no sense, but basically what we do, the Pokemon that we get by using that glitch is based on the map around us. So that's why we messed up the map before throwing the ball. It's because we changed the map so that Electabuzz would be the Pokemon we get. Electabuzz is a hard to get Pokemon otherwise, so we do that. I messed up. This is another RNG manip. I messed it up. Some of the manips are not just purely movement. Some of them do require A presses or start menu flashes. There's a lot of things that can go into a manip, so I messed that one up. The mansion is very laggy, so sometimes your A presses will get eaten. That manip required 2 A presses, so they got eaten. Yeah, is basically the gist of it. So if you've seen a Catch-em-all run before the last year or so, you may know that Safari Zone is a pain in the ass. Luckily for us, it is no longer that bad. we have to throw Safari Balls. They're not 100%, so we don't get the benefit from Master Balls. And for the longest time, it was like, if we could just change the map that the game thinks we're on, we could get a Master Ball during the fight. And that worked. However, after the fight was done, when the map loaded, it would load you on the new, or the map you just changed to. So it didn't really work. I don't know who discovered it, but someone discovered that you can use 9F in the battle, and that opens like an extra layer of menu above the battle. And so we don't actually exit the battle, which means the new map never loads. We're just, we're able to save and reset before the map loads. So we're doing a bunch of RNG manip here for specific Pokemon. These Pokemon are tricky to get otherwise. So in general, RNG manip only saves time for rare Pokemon, but specifically for Safari Zone, it's definitely useful for us to do. Each hard reset takes about 22 seconds, depending on 24-ish seconds, depending on what way you go through the intro. So you'll notice each one of these intros I'm doing a little bit differently. Gives us different RNG if we do it this way. So yeah, it wastes about 24 seconds. Or if we were to not do RNG manip, each wasted encounter is about 11 seconds. So you have to figure doing an RNG manip for a Pokemon is about the same as getting 2 useless encounters before finding the Pokemon you need. So we try to only do the manips when it really saves us time. Because a perfect run of this would do, like, no manips, because you would just get perfect luck. But we are not perfect, as you may have noticed. Oh my god. Alright, that's fine. I wasn't paying attention. I need to move myself during that menu. Or during that. You'll see what's supposed to happen. But actually, this gives me an extra chance to explain Trainer Fly. So, I mentioned that we set up a bunch of Trainer Flies, and so what that means is Trainer Fly is essentially the Mew glitch. If you've ever heard of the Mew glitch, it's the same thing. Except you can get Pokemon other than Mew, and the Pokemon that you get using that glitch is based on the special value of the last Pokemon that you fought in battle. So for me right now, the last Pokemon I fought in battle was that Nidoran male. That Nidoran male has 26 special. 26 special will correspond to this Scyther. So it's pretty straightforward. What I'm about to do are called Brock Flies, and Brock Flies set the value of the next Pokemon we see differently. So it's not going to use the special value of this Scyther. It's going to use other values in memory that we have access to control. Specifically, that cancel has 95 of it. Wait. What the heck? Did I do something wrong? Alright, 1 second. I'm gonna have to check my menu because I think I did something wrong. Oh my god, I never okay, yeah. I never tossed my cancels, that's why. That's fine. Easy enough for me to... I'm not paying attention. Alright, sorry about that. I made a mistake. The items in my inventory matter for that part, and I forgot to toss I forgot to toss an item to a specific value on an earlier menu. Jeez, how many times do you guys want to see this Nidoran get caught? It's only the third time. Alright. Alright, I can fix this easy enough. Wait. Why can't I not toss it? Usually that works. Let me... There we go. I don't know why it wouldn't let me toss it, but... There we go. And now it's there, so whatever. Sometimes the game thinks certain items are key items when they're really not. So we're fine now. It's all good. Everything is fine. So yeah, like I said, the Brockflies, talking to this guy with specific items in my inventory is allowing me to specify which Pokemon are going to appear. So the cancel times 95 is what mattered there, which is why when I didn't have 95 of it, it wasn't working. Now it's the Firestone times 99, which will correspond to an Oddish. Wow, that took way longer than usual. Seems legit, always. Alright. Here I'm looking for either a Bellsprout or a Meowth. We only need one of them. And of course that is neither of them. 1, 2... So this has a good chance of being an 18 Meowth. It also could be a 22 Pidgey again. Yep. 1, 2... This should be a 22 Bellsprout or a 17 Meowth. Okay. Yeah, so we only need one of them because we're going to do RNG Manip for the other one. If I ever get another encounter. But not before doing another LG. So this one's a little bit different. We don't actually have to mess with the map. We just have to go to a specific tile. So we'll do our Manip for Meowth. Alright. So like I said, if anyone has any specific questions, I know I can't touch on everything. So if anyone does have specific questions, definitely feel free to ask them. There's going to be a little bit of downtime in just a little bit because I'll be evolving some Pokemon. So it's a good time to answer any questions. I completely blew right past the item I needed to. Wait. Am I on the right tile? I am. What the heck? Why are my items wrong? Huh. I'm gonna try this again. My items are wrong, which is concerning. If it doesn't work, I can get Dratini in a different way. But it's annoying. Yeah, my items aren't right. This is a potion instead of a Master Ball. Let me try it like this anyways. Worst case... Alright, it was a Dratini anyways, so that's really strange that my items were wrong. Normally there's a Master Ball times 0 there. That time there was a Potion times 0. So it's really confusing. Okay, that's fine. No worries. So you may notice that sound effects are playing a little bit faster, and I'm able to get through some of these menus a bit faster, and that's because we are in a state called Overworld Red Bar. Because we left that last battle without actually ending the battle, the game still has the effects of Red Bar, where certain sound effects are skipped. So it's really nice and beneficial for us to use a lot of rare candies during this time. And so what you see me doing is I am using rare candy. It's Master Ball times 0, and I only saw the Master Ball times 2, so I was like, what? Okay. So we're back on track. So yeah, what we do is we evolve every Pokemon to within, or we candy every Pokemon to within one level of evolution. And then we pull the trigger on the last one. That ruins our Overworld Red Bar, but we've already gotten the benefits of the Overworld Red Bar at this point. So it's not too bad. Can I talk about how Ash Ketchum percent is the best meme speedrun ever? I've never done that run. The best meme speedrun in Pokemon that I've done is... It's not a true category. Like, you wouldn't find it on speedrun.com. But Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire has a all Megastones speedrun that really honestly wouldn't be bad. It would be a decent speedrun, except that for the fact that one of the Megastones that you have to get requires 2 hours of playing contests. You have to win a bunch of contests in order to get the Lucario Megastone. So it's a nightmare. Excuse me. Alright. For anyone trying to keep track at home, we are currently at 39? 40, maybe? I think 40 Pokemon. Yeah, 40 pokes. So you may think, because I'm at 51 minutes and I'm only at 40 pokes, that this is going to take way over estimate. It shouldn't. The Pokemon start coming really fast. Alright. Toss this. Get down to that. So in general, what we try to do is we try to evolve an entire box worth of Pokemon before changing box. And the reason for that is not having to go back to it at the end of the run is really nice. There's a lot of time that can be lost by just, like, not knowing which Pokemon you have to evolve, like what boxes they're in, all that kind of stuff. So by doing it this way, we eliminate a lot of that concern. Alright, so now it's time for Cerulean Cave. Cerulean Cave is a really cool part of the run. It's where a lot of people's personal strats can differ. There are no Pokemon that we have to look for. Every Pokemon that's mandatory is Manipped. So, theoretically, I could be done with Cerulean Cave, just get the Pokemon that you are required to get, and leave. But I tend to like to get a few bonuses, and I don't stay too long, because this place can definitely waste some time, but I try to get either Golbat or Hypno on this floor, so we just got Golbat, so we won't look for Hypno. And I try to get 2 of Dodrio, Venomoth, rather, and Dodrio, Venomoth, and Kadabra on the other floor. Alright, so we're gonna look for, like I said, 2 of Venomoth, Dodrio, and Kadabra. Ditto, I'm not going to catch even though I don't have it, because Ditto is absolutely free to get later. Venomoth is the worst of the 3 to get. So, like, I'd rather see Kadabra, but it's not too bad. Try to get Dodrio. That's probably a Ditto or a Wigglytuff or something. Okay, cool. So we got our Dodrio, so we can leave. Not getting Kadabra kind of sucks, but I'd rather not sit here and waste too much time. Actually, I didn't get Dodrio. I mean, I didn't get Kadabra or Venomoth. Electrodes are faster than you, because, I mean, you're an Electrode, but you're slow. Or you're a lower level. So, that can happen sometimes. Luckily, it's easy enough to evolve. Or, it's lucky enough, it's easy to revive our Pokemon. Just by using a rare candy. So now we're going to evolve everything else in our party. And then we have a couple more Pokemon to get, and then we're done with Cerulean Cave. So for each one of the stones, so Fire Stones, Thunder Stones, Water Stones, we always get one more than we actually need. So there's only 3 Pokemon in the game that evolve using a Leaf Stone. I have all 3 of them in my party, but we buy 4 of the stones. That's done mainly for 2 reasons. One, if we were to use the last Leaf Stone, it would reduce our item count by 1. So we would have less item spaces to work with. The other reason why we keep the leaf, like 1 extra leaf stone around, and the other stones as well, is... where is it? You want to... Oh, we use those leaf stones as a value in our hex editor later. Same thing with the Thunder Stones, same thing with the Fire Stones. Fire Stones, we actually have 2 stacks. One was for the Brock Flies from earlier. So. One was for the Brock Flies earlier, and one is for evolving things, but we actually need both of those for a bit later on. Did I pass it again? Oh my goodness. So another LG. And then we get to do a pretty tough Manip. This is, in my opinion, the hardest of the Manips that we do. So hopefully we get it first try. We already messed it up. Some of the palettes, some of the Manips require a palette change. So on Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance, you can change the palette for Game Boy games. That's why sometimes I'm playing in like this auburn reddish version, and sometimes I'm playing on blue. Luckily, we got that one, so that's pretty good. So we catch our Chansey here, and assuming we did not get IGT'd, which is basically the chance that the Manip fails, we should, from Trainer Fly, get a very specific Pokemon that is pretty hard to get otherwise. Alakazam. So now we're on our way over to Route 11. If we had caught a Hypno, we would be doing Route 11 a little bit differently because we could catch a Drowsy. But I don't want to try and catch the Drowsy because trying to evolve Hypno from a level 9 Drowsy is not fun. So we get Sandshrew. The other Pokemon that is useful here is Spearow. I'll catch that if it shows up. Otherwise, we do another LG, and then we are off. Yeah, so like I said, even if I see a Drowsy, I will not catch it. It's not worth it to catch. So here's our Growlithe, and yeah. This right here is a pretty cool trick. We want to use this guy's Magnemite as a Pokemon for Trainer Fly. However, normally, once you enter a trainer battle, you either gain the money for beating the battle, or you lose half of your money for dying. We don't want to do either, so there's a neat little trick where you can throw a Master Ball in a fight. Specifically, the fight right after you perform an LG. And it will end the battle. Normally, throwing a Pokeball during a battle is not going to end the battle. I should make that clear. But it's very specific to because we just did an LG. I'm also going to look really quick for a Zubat. If I didn't catch Golbat, we would not be getting a Zubat here. We'd be getting it elsewhere, but it's more common to get here, so I'd rather just find it now. You can get trolled. Like, normally you think, oh, Mount Moon, full of Zubats. You can get trolled and get like 6 Geodude encounters in a row, and it just ruins everything. I did not get Marowak, so means we need to evolve our Cubone, which means I need to deposit an extra Pokemon. I'm also pretty low on the bonus count. Sometimes you have trouble depositing all of your Pokemon in this box just because you caught so many Pokemon, but I really didn't get that many bonuses. Alright, so we buy our Magikarp, and yeah, it's funny, that's just the fastest way to get a Magikarp is just to buy it. And the reason we didn't catch Ditto earlier is every one of these LGs that we do, if we were to throw a second Pokeball, it is always a Ditto. So this, just throwing a Pokeball, is faster during this than it is to do during like the Cerulean Cave segment. Also, in Cerulean Cave, your box space matters a lot more. This is a crazy warp, right? Or crazy buffer, yeah. So this minute can be pretty tricky as well. But we got it. It's kind of tricky because of the poison ticks. You don't think the poison ticks add much, but really, like, it adds a decent amount of lag. So if you're very used to the way it feels without the poison ticks, it's slightly different with them. It's just a little thing. Oh, I should have evolved Cubone too. Whatever. Alright. I'm gonna evolve everything in my party once again. So for a glitch a little bit later on, around the hour 15 mark, we need exactly 13 Firestones. So we go from 99, we need 99 for an earlier glitch, we use one there, and then we are able to just toss down to 13 for the next glitch that we need. It's a neat little route. We can use that item slot for a lot of things, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. It's pretty good routing. Alright, one more LG. Like I mentioned, we used all of our leaf stones. Now we're getting rid of them, so it's a good thing that we use them. Escape rope, HMO2 up for the Cascade badge that's now in our money slot. So we swapped Thunderstones into money. We bought Magikarp, which cost $500, and that changed the Thunderstone into a Cascade badge. And we're going to use that Cascade badge item a little bit later on. For this, for that. Nurse Joy is now a Hitmonlee that we steal. Uh-oh, okay. No, it's this one. The guy moving really threw me off. Oh, I forgot to flash. Doesn't waste that much time. By flashing A's PC during that last PC usage, it brings your cursor up to the top of your inventory, and I always forget. In my notes, it is like the biggest text that Google Docs will allow you to do. It says flash A's PC, and I always forget. I need to put, like, a sign on my actual TV that says it. Alright, so we got Hitmonlee, we got Gyarados, we got Venusaur, and we're gonna be getting Wigglytuff. Typically, when we do these runs, we have a program that allows us to track which Pokemon that we've caught. And so I have that on my computer right now to basically make sure I don't miss anything. So that's why I was mentally indicating which Pokemon we're getting, so I'm marking them correctly. Alright, this segment here is going to be a little bit different than usual because we do not have a Drowsy or a Hypno. We're going to need to do an extra LG, which does waste a bit of time. Oh, I was supposed to get on the bike. Is that this? Whatever. I was supposed to get on the bike earlier. So the only Pokemon we're actually going to be looking for and catching is Caterpie. If we see a Weedle, we actually have to run away, which is very, like, it hurts, it pains me to do as a longtime catch-em-all runner. Many iterations of this route, if you see a Weedle, it's like the best thing in the world. But for my particular situation I'm in, if I see a Weedle, I have to run away. And the reason for that is I have 4 Pokemon that have to go to my party. I have to have Caterpie. Well, actually, I have 2 Pokemon that have to go to my party. Caterpie and a glitched Pokemon called M. M is going to be the 4th Pokemon that I'm catching. So what that means is I only have 4 party spaces when I come in here. Which means M will be the 4th Pokemon, and if I catch a Weedle before, M will be the 5th Pokemon. And we can't allow that to happen. So, luckily Weedle is rare enough that we rarely have to run away from him, but it happens. It definitely happens, and it's heartbreaking to run away. We get a Weedle very soon to now. Like not too far off, so it's not a big deal. Wait. This tile. I thought I was on a different one. Alright, 10, 20, 30, 40, 52. Yeah, so this is a glitched Pokemon named M. We will be evolving M into a Kangaskhan later on. M is essentially a variant of Missing No. It's not quite the same, but it has a lot of the same characteristics. And if we were to actually encounter it in battle, it would actually look like a Missing No. So now if I get a Weedle, I can catch it. My party is full, and the order of the Pokemon I catch from now on doesn't matter. It's just because I needed to get Drowsy, getting a Weedle early is just bad. Alright. Really what you're looking for in this section, because the only Pokemon you actually have to find and catch is Caterpie, really what you're hoping for in this section is I get my encounters fast. Viridian Forest is definitely known as being a spot that encounters are pretty sparse. In glitchless runs, I mean, now there's a path through that minimizes the encounters because there are glitched tiles, but even before that, for glitchless runs, you could get through Viridian Forest with no encounters a lot of the time. So really what you're looking for is give me my encounters fast. That's another pretty tough minute, like the Chansey one. Same reason it's tough. Chansey also has like a turnaround, which is what, in my opinion, makes it harder. But I know people that struggle with this one too. Alright, just need one more encounter. If we can get that fast, which I'm not getting it fast. I was gonna say that would be a perfect Viridian Forest with Drowsy. coin case. Toss 2 jack. Ultra Ball for, I think it's Master Ball times 2. I ate my input. Alright. And Squirtle. Now we're on to a pretty interesting segment. One of the coolest things in the run will be happening during this split. Or I guess to me it's one of the coolest things. It may not be that cool to you. I apologize. Crap, let me think. I need Caterpie, Ekans, Weedle, Ghastly. Caterpie, Ekans, Weedle, Ghastly. Alright, I know what I'm doing. This is fine. But yeah, so there's a glitch in this run, or this split, that is really cool if you've never seen it before. We kind of did it already in a different part of the run, but the effect in this one is much cooler to me. And it's combined with RNG manipulation for a specific Pokemon on a specific tile with a specific special value so the trainer fly works. Like, it's really cool. So where you do a manip for Dugtrio. Dugtrio is only 5% to appear, and it does evolve at kind of a high level, so you want to try and catch one rather than evolve into it if you can. So that's why we do that manip. And then now we are evolving our M into a familiar face, and is gone. Now, because the last thing on our screen was M, everything in this battle is going to be backward. And because it's backward, we can do this and catch our Horsey. So this is another LG. It's different steps to perform than the original LG that you've seen me do a bunch of times, but it's kind of cool. It only works if the sprites are flipped like they just were. So now I need a Diglett, and I need one more encounter to do another LG off of. It's worth noting, if I were to leave this map, if I were to go up that ladder right now, I would actually crash my game. Which we don't want to happen, so luckily you don't have to be too careful. Just moving back and forth like that isn't that hard. But if you don't know it and you accidentally leave early, you would absolutely crash your game. So, all right, and this LG is very particular in what you need to do, so I'm going to take my time and make sure I do the steps correctly. Oh my god, wait, I did it wrong. Alright, I'm just gonna... I would have been fine. Fuck. Alright, whatever. Not a huge deal. I lose a little bit of time. We've already lost a little bit of time. It's fine. I forgot to flash my map, which would have been okay if I just undid my swaps and then flashed my map. But at the same time, I believe in my resetting there. I think that's the right call. I don't know the specific nuances for how doing things in the wrong order there messes up the manip. we do a manip right after the LG I was about to do, and it's a very particular manip, and if you mess up the menu beforehand, that menu I was just doing, it will actually mess up the manip as well. And so I don't want that to happen for a lot of reasons. The biggest of which is the manip is done in such a way that we get a specific Pokemon on a specific tile with a specific special. And you can't, like, it's going to be very tough to try and mimic those exact parameters with pure luck. So just by just resetting like that, we're fine. Alright, so now let's actually do this correctly. Alright, swap WA4 for Master Ball. Toss this. Flash Map. Alright. Toss 8 again. Swap Ultra Ball for Great Ball for this. Do this. For Paralyze Heals. Toss that. Alright. I did that menu correctly. So, if the manip doesn't work, it's not because of the menu. So here we go. Messed it up. That was me messing up, not the game being mad. Alright, we got it. Cool. So, this Pokemon here is a Ghastly. You can't tell it's a Ghastly. But it is, I promise. So, it's a Ghastly that we can't catch because we do not have a Sylph Scope. So, rather than needing a Sylph Scope, what we do is we change the map. We can now catch the Pokemon, which is a Ghastly. Because we changed the map, when we load in, we are now on Route 21. We get a very specific Pokemon from Trainer Fly with our Magmar here. Which is why when the manip fails, you're screwed, because if the Magmar doesn't show up, you have to get Magmar a different way. And in addition to that, these Pokeballs are now all Pokemon that we can catch. This one's a Gengar, which, I mean, we need the Gengar, right? How else are we going to get Gengar? We're not going to trade for it. You never knew there was a catch-em-all category? Yep. It's not a very popular category. It used to be more popular than it is. But it's definitely a really cool run. It's, as you can tell, it's heavily glitched. The main draw against the run is that the route, historically, it doesn't happen anymore, but historically the route has changed quite a bit. So what would happen is a person would learn the run, and then the route would change the next day. So then they had to relearn the run, and then it just basically never gave you a chance to really get good at one of the runs, like one of the routes. The current route has been in place since September and hasn't changed since then. So it's definitely a lot more friendly for people to try and run nowadays. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. And yeah, so during this part, we need to catch either Pidgeotto or Tangela. We got Pidgeotto, so we can do a manip for Tangela in a little bit. The Rattata is a nice bonus. By catching it now, we don't have to catch it later. And we're doing another LG. Yay! We do LGs all the time here. Oops, max repel. I was not finding new routes myself. There are a bunch of people that are way better at it than I am, mostly because a lot of it does require actually knowing a lot about like how the actual code of the game works. And I'm just not that technically inclined, at least not in terms of this game. It is a bit repetitive. It's very much you go to this area, you catch some Pokemon, you do an LG or two, you do a Manip, and then you leave. It used to be a lot more repetitive, mostly because there was a glitch that allowed you to basically stand in one spot and like mutate Pokemon into Pokemon that you need. That's a very bad explanation, but you basically sit in one spot, mess with your menu, and then you'd throw a Pokeball and get the Pokemon that you needed. Which is kind of what I'm doing here, but really not as much. This is definitely a bit different than that. That you would literally stand in the same spot for... where am I going here? You'd stand in the same spot for like 20 minutes. Just mess with your menu, catch random Pokemon. In the yellow Catch-em-all game, or Catch-em-all version, you would actually... let me just release 2 Pokemon. I can release Tangela, Fearow. Pidgeotto. 1 second. I want to make sure I do this right. And then I'll continue explaining what I was explaining. It's no longer used because we felt it didn't make the run fun. It made the run really unfun, and nobody was running it, so we decided to change the rules to not allow it. So that glitch is no longer allowed in the run. So like I was mentioning at the very beginning of the run, you can catch all the Pokemon using almost any means necessary. That there is not allowed. The other glitch that's not allowed is a glitch called Cool Trainer, that I won't get into exactly how it works. It's basically like an LG, but backward. Rather than getting an encounter and then going somewhere and mutating the Pokemon, you would go somewhere, then get an encounter and mutate the Pokemon in the battle. But yeah, so it's no longer used because it's not allowed, and it just wasn't fun. So the community as a whole decided to disallow it. Yellow, nobody runs Yellow 151. It's not a good category. But Yellow currently still allows it, only because people don't care enough to change it. The Yellow run uses that glitch for literally an hour. There's an hour of you sitting in front of the PC in the Pewter City Pokemon Center and just mess with your menu, throw a Pokeball. Mess with your menu, throw a Pokeball. Mess with the menu, throw your Pokeball. Like, it's awful. Yep, It's very boring. But I mean, it was the fastest way to catch Pokemon, so that's what we did. And then, like I said, people just grew to absolutely hate the run, and nobody was running the category. So it was like, well, this has to change because we can't just kill a category because of these strats. So the rules themselves were already pretty arbitrary, so we just made them a little bit more arbitrary. That's really all there was to it. Okay. This run, before any of those glitches were found, a speedrunner you guys probably have heard of by the name of Shenanigans did this run at SGDQ 2015. The route he does there is what most of us consider to be the best route. It's not as fast as this one, which is why we don't do it. Alright, 1 second. I need 3, so 3. Horsey, I need Squirtle and Weedle. It's definitely a very fun run to watch. See, the nice thing about the run is it's one of those things that's appealing to a new person in a way because it's so crazy. Like you're like, what is happening on my screen right now? Why is this map all jumbled like that? Stuff like that. So it's appealing to new viewers because of that, but it's also appealing to older viewers just because there's so much variance from run to run. No two runs of this are going to be the same. With the way the route is now, a lot of the runs are very similar, but they're still going to be different. There's going to be differences. Like, I have Weedle in my party that I haven't evolved yet. I don't know if I've ever not evolved Weedle at this point, but it's just what's going to be the fastest for me personally on this run. And the reason for that is I want to use Overworld Red Bar to evolve the Weedle, and all of the other Overworld Red Bar sessions that I've already had haven't been good for me to do Weedle in, so I'll be doing it at a later time. But like, that just doesn't happen usually, so it's definitely fun. One of the things that used to be really fun about this run, it doesn't happen so much anymore, but the run used to very much be, alright, what can you do? Or the good runners were the ones who knew what to do when everything went wrong. So like, if I crash my game, or if I get the wrong Pokemon from Trainer Fly or something like that, or I forget to catch a Pokemon, what do I do? What's the way to fix it? That used to be really big in this category. It isn't so much like that anymore, so to me this run is more complicated but also more beginner friendly. Whoops. This should be something rare. Ah, I didn't wait long enough. Nice. Machoke is a good bonus. I just nicknamed him, what? Onyx, please? Should be Onyx. Ah, that's actually not even close to Onyx. What happened? Alright, coin case for this item, 17 for this. Surprised I haven't seen anybody ask when I'm getting Mew, because it's always fun to, like, the old runs used to be you get Mew right away, and he's your cut slave, or not cut, he's your dig, fly, surf person. But in this run, we get him really late because we don't need him. Alright, I still need Onyx and Geodude. This is pretty bad. Holy crap. Like, holy crap. I just need an encounter. There we go. Wow. It's another Machoke. Jeez. Alright. Immediate encounter, please. One. This is pretty rough. So, like I said, we need either Onyx or Geodude. We don't even need to get both of them. We just need one or the other. And this is pretty unlucky. There we go. Alright. Alright, now I just need any encounter. It's nice if it's a Geodude. Nice. Wasn't required, though. But that's really nice that that's a Geodude, so. Now? Darn. Let's see, what now? Is level 24, and level 24 kind of back. Am I dropping frames? No. I'm just making sure it's not me too. Do Hitmonchan. Yeah, I guess you guys can't really hear me, but basically what we're doing here is the last little bit of farming. We have one more area that we're going to, one more dungeon that we're going to, and then we will be good to go. So we're back. Alright. I think we're good now. Apologies for that. I wasn't dropping... I dropped a little bit of frames right at the end of it. But I haven't dropped any frames this whole time. So it's very weird. It's probably just Mixer being weird. Alright, I do have Venomoth. But I need Venonat. Alright, I accidentally threw a Pokeball. Whoops. That should be fine. Like, I'm not gonna box full because of that, but I do need to keep track of the number of Pokemon in my box now. 9F, thank you. Alright. We're good, no worries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I think. Alright, so last area that we're going to, and then we are done catching Pokemon. We will still have to evolve a few. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, yeah. Alright, so I need to... I will need to release one Pokemon. So that's our last RNG Manip for the run. It's been a good run. Alright, so Pokemon that we have to catch here, we need a Seal, we need Psyduck, we need... what else do we need? We need Seal, Psyduck, Krabby, and Staryu. 1. Seafoam Islands is a pain to try and desummon. Just because of the way the encounters are laid out. That's a level 31 Psyduck. So it makes stuff like this a lot harder, trying to get the specific Pokemon that you want. This should be a 33 Seal. Basically, desum, the way it works is if you look at the encounter slots, this should be a 33 Krabby. If you look at the encounter slots, as time moves on, the encounter that you will get is like moving. Think of like a Price is Right wheel, where each encounter that you can get is a piece of the Price is Right wheel. Okay? And so if I get it a little bit early, I'm in the slot right before. If I get it a little bit late, I'm in the slot right after. So you're trying to hit like specific slots. And normally the slots that you need are next to each other. So like I need these 2 slots in a row, and that makes it really beneficial for us to do desum manipulation because the window that you have to get that Pokemon is much wider if it's 2 slots instead of 1. In Seafoam, they alternate. So the slots go 31 Psyduck, 31 Seal, 33 Psyduck, 33 Seal. So you could do desum exactly right and just get in the middle every time. So if I'm looking for a Seal, I could get the 33 Psyduck every time. I did nothing wrong. It's just how it ended up happening. Oak's Parcel, Max Potion for Potion, Pokeball for J. Last Pokemon that we need to catch. That Seafoam was actually really good. And I'm not even going to get the gold for it because I forgot to split the split before. Alright. So I need to keep Weedle, or Kakuna, I guess, technically. Oh, I need to release 2 pokes as well. Or just 1. Oh, I need to release 2? Interesting. I messed up counting then. Alright, Krabby, Seal, Psyduck, Kabuto, and Rhyhorn. Alright, guys. Final stretch. After I'm done evolving the things in my party, all we should have left to evolve are Pokemon that require stones, and the reason I do all those separately is the stones are in a different part of my inventory. The stones are further down in my inventory, so I'd rather do all of the Pokemon that evolve via levels first, and then do all of the ones that require stones second. After I'm done evolving everything, the Pokemon I need left to evolve after my party are, I need Clefairy, Shelder, and Staryu. After I'm done evolving, I'm going to check and make sure I have 151 Pokemon. If I did everything correctly, I will. But I have been known to go to the end of the game with only 150, so just want to make sure. And then we just go to the Hall of Fame and we're done. And you guys don't have to listen to me anymore. I know you've had 3 hours of me between this and New Super Mario Bros. 2. I apologize. I know that can be a lot of me to go through. But yeah, I guess I'll do my ending spiel now, so I don't take any time at the end, because I know we're running a bit behind schedule. I do want to thank Speed Stuff for Charity for letting me do my runs. That's really awesome. I hope to be able to do this again sometime. And I definitely want to plug both the Pokemon speedrunning community and the New Super Mario Bros. Speedrunning community, because they're both really cool. A lot of cool people, and there's a lot of people there willing to help you if you want to learn these runs. So I'm definitely partial to this run. This is the run I've done the most of in my speedrunning career, so I definitely would love to see more people doing runs of it. And yeah. Hey, no worries. The setup issues, that happens. We've had to deal with those same types of things in the Pokemon speedrunning marathon. So I definitely understand it. Running a marathon is hard, let me tell you. So all right. And this is the last one. So I should have 151. After this, we're going to go to the Hall of Fame. Time stops when we see the first fully white frame after getting our Pokedex evaluated by Professor Oak. So hey, we have all 151. Look at that. We didn't mess it up. Wait, I just went right past the item I needed. There we go. See you later, Nurse Joy. What's up, glitched out Professor Oak? So yeah, that run was okay. Really, the biggest issue was that one section where we lost a lot of time because I messed up, forgetting to toss the cancel, but it's pretty good. 138 is a really good in-game time. Alright, so time's coming up real quick. And time. So yeah, I think my PB has about a 131 in-game time, so even though my time is like 14 minutes off my PB, the in-game time is only about 7 minutes, so that sort of shows you we lost a lot of time redoing resets. But anyways, yeah, that's all I've got, so I don't want to keep you guys any longer, so I'm good to go whenever you guys are.